shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world.
All right, everybody, we have another clip here from Piers Morgan. Another one of these wild Jerry Springer style back and forths. Ana Kasparian just going to absolutely go in. This guy, Gideon on the right, really a positive force in the Israeli community, and you love to see that. Piers Morgan going to have his way as well against this really creepy Kevin-like figure. If you're familiar with the movie Sin City, just sort of creepy, dead-eyed. I'll let it play out, and you'll see for yourselves. But let me know your thoughts in the comments on this exchange. And here we go.
As for starvation, I never once said that people are being overfed. I never once said that what the IDF is doing inherently all the time is good. What I am saying is the IDF has taken measures that no other Western country has ever taken in modern warfare. The fact that they drop leaflets on buildings telling civilians to evacuate because there are known Hamas entities in those buildings. The fact that they have provided more aid into Gaza post-October 7th than pre-October 7th is something I'm very proud of. And if you believe that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is not doing enough...
The fact that they shoot at people as they're waiting in line for humanitarian aid. Dozens of people get shot and killed literally every single day. Every single day as they're waiting for food. No, I'm not going to let you filibuster, bitch. I'm not going to let you filibuster. I'm not going to let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world. Okay? Watching these images, looking at these videos, seeing all these kids desperate, hungry, parentless, trapped in Gaza. And you're sitting here and you're defending it. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. The filibustering is unbearable. It's unbearable.
And what I tell you what,
I can't take it. How can you watch all those kids die?
Okay,
and be
let me
okay
bring Gideon back in here.
Will you call on Hamas right now to surrender and release the hostages? Do it. Do it right now. Say, I
called out Hamas. I called out Hamas from the very beginning. I've got no love for Hamas. It's a terrorist organization. What they did was wrong. I cried over the atrocities that they engaged in on October 7th. But you know what's so disgusting? You want to? Yes, I did. You should watch The Young Turks. That's where you'll see exactly what I had to say about Hamas after October 7th. I even trashed elements of the left who refused to criticize Hamas for what they did. Okay, so you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to that issue.
Okay, you made that clear.
But you can't on one hand,
you
can't on one hand talk about the injustice of what Hamas did and then turn around and say it's okay if Israel does it times 1,000.
Okay, let me bring Gideon back in here. Gideon, my big issue, other than the slaughter of so many civilians now, which seems to be almost accelerating now on a daily basis, with no control valve at all. Now we have a full new wave of ground invasion. God knows how many more civilians are going to get killed with this. But my real problem is, what is the supposed goal here, right? I believe Smodrich when he says he wants to cleanse Gaza of Palestinians. Okay, but how does any of this make Israel safer? How does any of this help Jews around the world who want to get on with their lives and not have to feel threatened when they walk out of their front door? How does any of this do anything but what the critics of it, including allies and friends of Israel, say is just fomenting the hatred, fomenting the ideology that Israel just wants to kill all the Arabs it can, which I don't believe is what they want to do at all. But I do believe that out of what happened October the 7th, there's been a collective meltdown of common sense from Israel's government. And they're now just on a never-ending rampage with no apparent goal, which makes any sense to anybody else.
Here we differ, Piers. I used to think like you until the recent weeks. Now I'm so deeply convinced that there is a goal, a very clear goal. And the goal is the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. It is systematic, it is well planned. And listen to what I have to say. All the Holocaust in history started with moving populations and concentrating them in one concentration camp. Israel is doing it by the time we are talking now. Secondly, Israel is destroying the Gaza Strip systematically. It's not anymore a building here, a headquarters there, a school here, a shelter there. No, it's systematic destruction with huge companies who do it for a lot of money, destruction of Gaza, which will make it unlivable. We want Gaza to become unlivable in order that the Palestinians will leave Gaza. Stop thinking that there is no goal. The goal is crystal clear now. I don't know if it will be achieved, but it is crystal clear, and it's not Smotrich. It's not only Smotrich. It's the army, it's the government, it's big parts of Israeli public opinion to destroy Gaza, make it unlivable, to push them to the southern part of the Gaza Strip, to put them in concentration camps in which they will be longing to the days that they were starving in the Muasa and in other places, because life there will be much more of the hell. And then, according to the plan, and they said it, whoever will want to leave will be able to leave to other countries. So we are watching, by the time we are talking now, a horrible plan, a satanic plan of ethnic cleansing of Gaza. There is a goal, it's very clear, and the world has to do something immediately to stop it before it will be too late.
Shabbos, would you like to see the Palestinians out of Gaza? Do you agree with Smotrich?
Absolutely not. And I'm very proud of the fact that when I was living in New York City, I drove 4 hours to Washington, D.C. pre-October 7th to protest Bezalel Smotrich. Bezalel Smotrich represents a fringe minority of the Israeli populace. One of the trade-offs of living in a democracy, which of course Gaza is not, Iran is not, Syria is not, Lebanon is not, Jordan is not, Israel is the only democracy. And one of the trade-offs is you live with individuals who have reprehensible views. That's what living in a democracy is all about. And I'm thankful that individuals like Bezalel Smotrich are not part of the war cabinet. When you talk about what are the stated aims of the war, the Prime Minister has stated them numerous times. Right now, an American citizen, Omer Nutra, an American citizen, Itai Chen, their bodies are being held by Hamas in captivity. So when you ponder, well, what are the goals of the war? They're very simple, and they've been repeated on national television since October 7th. Give back the hostages, both the living ones and the ones you have killed, and force Hamas into exile. And instead of putting the pressure on the dictatorial Islamic regime that have obliterated any chance the Palestinians have of freedom of movement, freedom of expression, their own state. Instead, you've put pressure on the individuals who are responding to an actual genocide that occurred on October 7th when Hamas tried to kill every last Jew they could find. I believe in a two-state solution. I believe and I want Palestinians to have their own state in the same way that Jews have their own state. The problem is there is one entity that does not believe in that, and that is the entity that is calling from the freeing of Palestine of all Jews from the river to the sea. So if you are pondering, if you are asking, what are the stated aims? Give back the hostages. Can someone please explain why Hamas has the bodies of Thai hostages, why they took Africans, why they took babies? No one can articulately make a rational claim for that, and no one can articulately make the claim as to why Hamas thought it would be a good idea to slaughter innocent civilians on October 7th and then assume there would not be any military response.
Well, no, I think you're missing what I would say. Well, hang on.
Piers, let me just say one sentence.
Yes, please do. Get in.
The atrocities of the 7th of October were horrible. I was there the next day. I saw it in my own eyes. I will never forget it. Ever since then, Israel committed 1,000 7th of October. You understand it? 1,000 7th of October Israel committed. The children, if you take the numbers, the figures, the way that they are being killed, you see that we cannot claim again and again about the 7th of October and justify with the 7th of October all those horrible crimes against humanity which are taking place. There is a stage in which this is unacceptable anymore. You cannot again and again try to remind us about the terrible things that happened on the 7th of October and the 20 living hostages. You know that every 6 minutes, every 6 hours, Israel is killing 20 people? And they are as innocent as the hostages, among them many children. So stop with the 7th of October. It's unacceptable to rely only on this and to say the 7th of October enable us to go crazy and to do those crimes. And second point, stop speaking about Smotrich. The concentration camp in Rafiah is the idea of Israel Katz, Minister of Defense, nothing to do with Smotrich. Netanyahu let all this happen. It's not Smotrich. The idea of the humanitarian center or city, whatever, is clearly a stage on the way to transfer them. They say it, not I say. They say that they will be able to get out of this concentration camp only if they move to another country. This is ethnic cleansing, and it's not Smotrich. It is the Israeli government, the whole government behind it.
Shabbos, just to be clear, if it turns out that is indeed what this Israeli government is moving to do, and they do attempt to expel all the Palestinians out of Gaza, would you categorize that as a war crime? And would you say that Netanyahu and the others responsible should then be tried in The Hague?
Piers, let me be clear. If there is a forced permanent displacement of the Palestinian people, I will gladly go back on your show to denounce it. However, what the co-panelists are distinguishing, or excuse me, what they're blurring.
I highly doubt that if there's an active genocide and ethnic cleansing happening and you're not able to denounce it as we speak. So I highly doubt that, sir.
What has been done in every single war fought in modern warfare, and with what Israel seeks to be doing now, which apparently is ethnic cleansing. If you truly believe, as my co-panelists have suggested, that the Palestinian people are facing a genocide, if you truly believe that they're experiencing a discriminate bombardment, then you would do everything in your power to ensure that the innocent civilian population are safely evacuated temporarily so that Israel can kill the terrorists who have embedded themselves in civilian populations, like schools, like hospitals, like nursing homes. The problem is every time Israel or Western countries suggest doing that, suggest moving a refugee population the same way we have moved any refugee population, it's called ethnic cleansing. So then the alternative, okay, but then you would have civilians living in a dense urban environment where they are exposed to warfare. And then they die because that happens as a consequence of starting a war you have no hope of losing. So it's sort of a catch-22. Either we can safely evacuate them to Egypt, which, by the way, also shares a border with Gaza and has zero interest in taking the Palestinian population, or we can say, well, if you're not willing to safely evacuate them into humanitarian corridors, then you are exposing them to danger in warfare. But it seems like my co-panelists are suggesting that is preferable. That, to me, is something I cannot.
Everybody knows, and they know, and the people of Gaza know, the Palestinians know, if they were to do that, they're not going back. You're not going to let them go back. You're going to shut it off. You're going to come up with some next excuse for some reason that they can't go back, and you're never going to let them go back. So it's just, you're just openly calling for the same thing and just dressing it up in nice clothes.
Not understand. That is not rational. That is not liberal. That is not justified. We should safely evacuate civilians, take out Hamas and the dictatorial tyrannical regime, and then once the war is finished, you can safely repopulate Gaza with the same civilian population and build Gaza into what it was meant to be when Israel left Gaza in 2005, which, again, to your point of ethnic cleansing, Israel is doing a pretty shitty job of ethnic cleansing when, A, there are more Gazans post-October 7th alive than there were pre-October 7th, and B, Israel has given up Gaza in 2005.
Wait. What the fuck did he just say?
Shitty job of ethnic cleansing when, A, there are more Gazans post-October 7th alive than there were pre-October 7th, and B, Israel has given up Gaza in 2005. They gave up the Sinai Peninsula in 1979. They have consistently given up land in the name of peace. You know how much land the other Arab nations have given up? Zero, because their starting position from 1948 was the eradication of the Jew from the river to the sea. And that's what the root of this conflict is all about, is the inability of the Palestinian leadership to recognize the fruitfulness of coexistence and peace. I believe in coexistence and peace. I believe the war should end. You know who doesn't?
Are you going to let him filibuster?
All right, final word to Anna.
The same. Okay, a final word to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. If this was really about getting the hostages back, then Israel wouldn't be raining terror on the Palestinians in the West Bank, which is a separate territory, which was not governed by Hamas, but they are raining terror on them. They're allowing these terrorist settlers to run Palestinians out of their homes. They're bulldozing homes. They're building additional illegal settlements. They're openly talking about annexing the West Bank, by the way. So all of these talking points are so easy to dismantle. Why should Egypt clean up your mess? Why doesn't Israel absorb the Palestinian people in Tel Aviv or some other part of Israel if they're so concerned about civilians getting killed? It's because they're not concerned about civilians getting killed. They do want to ethnically cleanse. They want to force Egypt, which, by the way, is having overpopulation issues of its own, to absorb a problem that was created by Israel and the United States. And no one is under this ridiculous impression that this would just be a temporary relocation of the Palestinian people. Why did Benjamin Netanyahu use the Greater Israel map in the very beginning of this genocide? publicly during a press conference. He did it because this is all about the Greater Israel Project. He believes, first of all, he's totally against the Oslo Accords, has been from the very beginning. There are videos of him from when he's in his 20s talking about how the Palestinians should not be allowed to have their own state, their own right to self-determination. We're not stupid, Shabbos, okay? We're not idiots. We see it clearly. You can say whatever you want to say, and the same talking points are regurgitated over and over again. We're not buying it because we can see the facts on the ground. And Gideon Levy, let me just say to you, God bless you. Thank you so much for speaking out, because I know that there are people out there who have the wrong impression of the Israeli people overall. And I'm talking about civilian people. But there are wonderful Israelis. There are people who have the humanity in their hearts and their souls. They see what's happening. They're against it. Wonderful Jews all over the world, including here in the United States, who are protesting against the atrocities that are being committed against the Palestinian people. So thank you, because it's important for people like you to speak out, to at least provide a counter to the narratives and the lies that provide cover for the slaughter that we're seeing right now in Gaza. So thank you.
Ooh, absolutely.
Well said.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Wow.